Before the clock strikes 12. Archangel Michael instructs you to open this because midnight determines everything. My beloved child, tonight does not feel like every other night. There is a quiet shift in the atmosphere around your spirit, and heaven is holding its breath in a very different way for you. There are certain nights on earth where destiny chooses a final direction, and this night you are inside right now is one of them. Midnight tonight is not a time passing by. Midnight tonight is a spiritual turning point, a time marker, a divine lock that seals or unlocks everything that you have been waiting for. The clock is not just moving forward. The clock is counting toward a destiny threshold. This message reached you today because Archangel Michael saw something approaching your path that requires your awareness before it finalizes. Here is something written for you before the clock strikes 12. And if you stay, if you listen, if you allow your spirit to receive everything that has been blocked, delayed, buried, and silenced, in your timeline can begin moving again faster than you have seen in your entire life. There is a reason you did not scroll. There is a reason your soul pulled you here. There is a reason you felt something inside before even reading the second sentence. This is not a coincidence. This is alignment. Archangel Michael has been protecting your name in secret places. He has been carrying certain divine approvals in his hands, waiting for the perfect hour to release them. And tonight's midnight unlock is that hour. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are right on the last minute of the moment you were designed to collide with. You don't need to force anything. Right now, you only need to stay until the revelation reaches your spirit completely. Heaven watches how you move inside moments like this. Heaven watches how you respond to divine timing. Heaven watches if you remain present when heaven calls you by name. Your events that happen slowly. There are events that happen gradually. But there are events that happen suddenly, like lightning, like exact timing, like destiny striking in a single second. And what is coming for you is not slow. It is sudden, is swift. It is like a final seal clicking into place the second the clock touches 12. What felt impossible last month will not even require effort after tonight's shift. What felt closed will open without resistance. What felt blocked will fall apart on its own. You will not need to prove anything. You will not need to fight for anything. You will simply receive things that were already yours. Archangel Michael says, this night is a divine intersection between what you have lived and what you are about to experience next. Everything before this moment was preparation. Everything after this moment will be manifestation. You will not be who you used to be after tonight. But you must stay through this. You must not break your attention. You must not allow the world noise to interrupt what heaven is trying to align inside you right now. There is a reason this message reached you before the night ended. There is a reason this message reached you before the date shifted in heaven's book. Before midnight, the spiritual systems around you will finalize decisions about your next phase. This message is not fear. This message is instruction. This message is not threat. This message is alignment. You will not be rushed. You will not be pressured, but you will be positioned. There is something heaven hid inside you long ago that is now rising up again. Something your soul once believed in. before the world tried to kill that belief. Something pure, something divine, something that cannot be erased. Archangel Michael needs you to hear this with your full heart. The moment you stayed here and did not scroll, destiny already began shifting 1 degree ahead. At small action. That decision to stay, to read, to open your awareness already activated something in your timeline. You did not force anything. You simply responded. And heaven responds to response. You are not here by accident, you are here because the divine timeline reached its trigger point tonight. There is someone whose name is being directed toward your life again. Here is something that was written for you years ago that is reappearing. There is something your spirit felt in dreams that is returning in reality. This midnight is not the same midnight you have lived before. This midnight is a reset point. This midnight is where heaven sends back everything the enemy tried to steal, but in a completely new form. A healed form. A redesigned form. Archangel Michael says he will personally stand at the midnight line for you tonight and protect the shift happening inside your timeline. The spiritual unlocking will not happen outside of you first. It will happen inside your inner system before it shows up physically. Your emotions will feel lighter. Your mind will feel calmer. Your clarity will rise. You will suddenly start remembering who you are. You will suddenly start remembering that your destiny was never random. You will feel your old strength returning. You will feel your self-belief rising again. This is not just another message. This is a divine countdown moment that separates the old version of you from the version of you that heaven designed years ago. The version that the world tried to suppress. The version that trauma tried to destroy. The version that disappointment tried to silence. But that version survived every storm. Adrian survived every distraction. Aburian survived every delay. And tonight, that version is coming alive, again. Archangel Michael has already written the next line of your destiny. The page is already prepared. The release is already scheduled. The approvals are already signed. The unlocking is already initiated. You are not waiting for it. It is waiting for midnight to hit before it enters. You just need to reach that midnight without losing focus. You just need to remain present long enough for heaven to finish preparing your timeline. Something major is forming around your name and heaven is moving silently but aggressively behind the scenes right now to finalize what belongs to you. The divine script of your life is not waiting for next year. It is not waiting for next season. It is waiting for midnight today. Stay with this. Stay inside this flow. The night is not ordinary. The timing is not ordinary. The message reaching you right now is not ordinary. Don't skip. Tonight is not repeating anything from your past. Tonight is rewriting your future in a way you never experienced before. You have crossed into a frequency where heaven is about to make the invisible visible and the spiritual world is already preparing your arrival. There is a shift happening right now that cannot be undone once it begins. And your soul can already feel this acceleration building inside your chest. Something is aligning in silence, in secrecy, in precision, and it is moving closer toward you with every second you keep reading. This is not a message meant for entertainment. This is a message meant for confirmation. This is a message meant for activation. There are certain moments in life where God opens divine portals of access for chosen souls, and only a few actually respond correctly to the timing. People miss these moments not because they are unworthy but because they fail to stay present long enough for the spiritual unlocking to complete. Tonight you responded correctly. Tonight you are awake at the exact moment your destiny is being recalibrated. Tonight you are here inside a call that heaven is making only once. Archangel Michael is releasing this message like a final warning before the strike of midnight. Not out of fear, but out of protection. Because what is coming for you is too important, too valuable, too sacred to be delayed or interrupted again. Your spirit is entering a dimension where clarity will become louder than confusion. The voices that made you doubt yourself will start fading out without you forcing anything. You will not have to fight against your own mind anymore. You will not have to explain yourself to people who never had the capacity to understand your assignment. Your soul is stepping into a timeline where the right people finally recognize your value without you needing to prove anything. The ones who rejected you will see that heaven never lost you. They will see that your comeback was always scheduled. And they will see that midnight tonight was the turning hour that changed everything. There is a powerful truth. Archangel Michael wants you to receive. Now the version of you that suffered, that cried silently, that begged for answers, that carried weight that was never yours to hold will not cross into your next chapter. Aversion is ending before the clock strikes 12. Aversion survived long enough to bring you to this point, but it does not have permission to continue beyond tonight. There will be a deep emotional release inside your soul in the next few hours. You may feel strange waves inside you. You may feel like something heavy is slowly melting away. You may feel like something inside you is rebooting. That is your spirit detaching from the old timeline and stepping into the new frequency heaven assigned to you. You will start seeing signs that were not random. The dreams you had recently were not illusions. Certain names appearing repeatedly were not coincidences. The sudden emotional shifts you experienced were not mistakes. Everything was preparation for tonight. You were being conditioned to handle the new blessings with maturity, alignment, and understanding. You are being trained to receive in silence without needing validation. You are being shaped to accept what heaven has prepared for you without self-sabotaging it again. This time the promise will not slip away from your hands. This time the miracle will not pass by you. This time the blessing will not evaporate right when you get close to it, because tonight heaven is sealing the access point permanently. There is someone whose soul is connected to your destiny and their role in your future is greater than you can imagine right now. Heaven is guiding someone toward your timeline again. This person will not approach you like the past people did. This person will come with alignment. This person will come with clarity. This person will come with divine timing written on their path. You will not need to chase. You will not need to convince. You will not need to earn love through pain. This connection will feel like purpose meeting purpose, intention meeting intention, and destiny meeting destiny. Midnight is activating movement around this person as well. They are also going through a spiritual transition without even fully realizing that heaven is preparing them to walk into your life correctly. This time you will notice small shifts starting first. Someone will randomly think about you strongly. A name from your heart will suddenly appear somewhere. Your intuition will feel louder. You will become more sensitive to things that are about to manifest. Suddenly everything around you begins to look like transformation already started even before you saw the physical proof. Heaven wants you to believe before you see. Heaven wants you to agree before you understand. Heaven wants you to trust before it becomes obvious. The supernatural realm does not require human logic. It only requires spiritual acceptance. Your time of waiting is ending tonight. The cycles that kept repeating are not going to repeat again. The suffering that never made sense will finally transform into purpose. The unanswered prayers are going to become testimonies. And the tears you cried silently will become seeds that return to you, multiplied, purified, glorified. Archangel Michael is aligning your next chapter differently. It will not be built on weakness. It will not be built on fear. It will be built on truth, confidence, restoration, and divine promise. Now listen carefully because this is important in this part. If you are watching this on YouTube, you will share this video so that your destiny does not stay locked inside your life alone. You will comment to anchor your alignment in this earth realm. And you will subscribe so this divine path keeps flowing toward you without interruption as we continue releasing every next revelation in upcoming parts. When you take aligned action, heaven multiplies what is coming toward you. You are now stepping into the final stages of midnight alignment. Every second from here is part of the countdown. Every beat of your heart is part of the unlocking. Every breath you take this night is shifting you closer to what you were always meant to receive. Watch the next revelation. There is something inside your soul that has been waiting to breathe again. Something inside you that was never truly broken. Even when the world tried to make you believe you were shattered beyond return. Tonight, that part of you is rising. That part of you is remembering who you were before disappointments, before betrayal, before heartbreak formed scars where faith used to live freely. Archangel Michael is not just sending a message tonight. He is reigniting a blueprint that belonged to you since birth. You are stepping into the version of yourself that your spirit always knew existed, but your mind could not fully believe. Before the clock strikes 12, heaven needs you to open that part of you again. You have always felt different. Even when you tried to pretend you were like everyone else, you always sense certain moments before they arrive. You could always feel when energy shifted around you without needing anyone telling you what change. You always knew inside when a doorway was closing in your life and when a new chapter was quietly beginning without announcement. This gift of inner knowing you carried was not coincidence. It was a spiritual marker placed on you before birth. You are spiritually coded to detect destiny moments before they form on the physical plane. And right now, your soul knows this night is not ordinary. You know it before even being told. Your spirit feels the tension of breakthrough that has been building for months silently. Your soul recognizes the spiritual temperature rising around you. Archangel Michael has been whispering inside your intuition for weeks, preparing you for this night. He has been trying to get your attention through dreams, sudden emotional spikes, repeating numbers, random déjà vu feelings, unexpected thoughts you could not explain, and moments where your spirit suddenly became quiet without reason. All of these were not random events. They were signals. They were notifications from heaven that your timeline was approaching a destiny checkpoint. And now you have reached it. This is the checkpoint moment. There were people who underestimated your strength because they only saw you during your silent battles. They saw you during the moments you were exhausted, tired, confused, isolated, questioning your direction and feeling disconnected from everything around you. And they thought that version of you was your permanent identity. They never saw the version of you that heaven kept hidden. They never saw the version of you that was being sharpened by pain. They never saw the version of you that was being sculpted by loss. They never saw the version of you that was being strengthened by betrayal. They only saw the storm, but heaven saw the warrior in the storm. Heaven saw the chosen one that would rise when the timing became ripe. Heaven saw the divine soul whose purpose would not collapse even when everything external looked unstable. This is why Archangel Michael guided this message into your path tonight. Because midnight is not here to test you. Midnight is here to transition you. You are moving from spiritual heaviness into spiritual authority. You are moving from confusion into revelation. You are moving from survival energy into manifestation frequency. You are moving from waiting mode into receiving mode. Everything that felt delayed is now preparing to release itself into your life in a sequence you never expected. The first shift begins silently inside you. The second shift will appear suddenly around you. And the third shift will be undeniable proof that heaven has intervened. You have been faithful with little. You stayed strong even when nobody saw what you were fighting. You kept believing even when your spirit felt tired. You kept walking even when the path was unclear. Heaven never ignored that. Heaven never forgot that. Every tear you cried when nobody was watching was stored in spiritual record. Every silent moment where you held yourself together, even when you wanted to collapse, was recorded. Every time you forgave people who hurt you because you were building a future bigger than bitterness, heaven honored that. You are being rewarded for silent endurance. Somebody who hurt you will remember you again soon. Someone who took your energy for granted will think of you late at night and wonder why they cannot stop feeling your presence in their mind. Someone who walked away from you thinking they upgraded will soon realize they walked away from their greatest blessing. But here is your elevation. You will not chase. You will not beg. You will not reopen wounds. Midnight is sealing the past. Midnight is closing all karmic threads. Midnight is releasing you into a chapter where you no longer need permission to shine. You no longer need validation to feel worthy. You no longer need acceptance to be powerful. Your value is not negotiable anymore. Archangel Michael says something major in your destiny is about to return, but in a completely transformed way. Something that once slipped out of your life is making its way back. But this return is aligned, purified, stable, intentional, and divinely matured. Do not be surprised when certain energies start seeking you again. But this time, you will choose differently. Not from fear, not from loneliness, but from alignment. You will choose people who speak life. You will choose opportunities that expand your potential. You will choose paths that elevate your soul because now you understand your own value too deeply to settle again. You are also being positioned for a financial shift. You have been carrying scarcity energy unknowingly because of repeated disappointment. Every time you tried to build something, something interfered. Every time you tried to stabilize something financially, life pulled you backward. Those setbacks were not punishment. They were spiritual pruning. Everything that could crumble was meant to crumble before the real manifestation arrive. Because the timeline that begins after midnight requires you to be unshaken. You are about to receive what you once believed was too big for you. You are about to step into a season where abundance feels natural. Opportunities will chase you. Money will locate you. Unexpected doors will swing open without you knocking. Because this time, heaven is not just blessing you. Heaven is elevating your identity into someone who can manage blessings with authority. Your emotional system is also being rewired. You will not fear losing things anymore. That fear was built in you because you kept experiencing loss after loss, failure after failure, betrayal after betrayal. But tonight, the wiring inside your nervous system is shifting. Your fear will transform into trust. Your insecurity will transform into confidence. Your doubt will transform into intuition. You will not second-guess your own spirit anymore. You will not doubt your own inner voice anymore. You will not underestimate your own capability anymore. Midnight is the final layer of inner restoration. Archangel Michael says, the next part of this message is going to reveal the moment everything collapses into clarity. The moment where you finally understand why things happened the way they did. The moment where the puzzle pieces suddenly fit. The moment where the mystery you lived inside for so long suddenly becomes a divine revelation. Midnight is not the beginning of the miracle. Midnight is the moment the miracle touches earth. Before we move to the next part, prepare your heart, your spirit, and your awareness. The next phase is where things become extremely specific. The next part will reveal what will begin unfolding within days after this midnight shift completes. This is where destiny becomes detailed. This is where heaven starts showing you the exact path forward. Don't skip. There is a moment in every chosen soul's journey where everything suddenly begins making sense backwards. You look at every heartbreak differently. You look at every delay differently. You look at every closed door differently because suddenly you realize if those things had not happened when they happened, you would not have reached this exact night with the capacity and inner strength you carry. Now, Archangel Michael says, the biggest revelation that midnight is bringing to your life is not just what you gain next. It is what you finally understand about your past. Heaven is showing you that you were never abandoned. You were never unprotected. You were never left alone even for 1 second. You were being hidden, reshaped, prepared, spiritually trained, and positioned for a future that required the exact version of strength that now exists inside your soul. You had to go through seasons where you felt like nothing made sense because heaven had to detach you from attachments that were not aligned with your divine path. There were people you loved deeply who could not go where you are going next. There were connections you invested in that were never meant to exist inside your future timeline. There were places you tried to stay in where your destiny had already expired and heaven had to move you in painful ways, because if heaven would have allowed you to stay, you would have settled in a version of life smaller than what you were born for. That is why so much was removed. That is why so much collapsed. That is why the wrong ones left. That is why nothing felt stable in the past months. Because the wrong foundations had to break before heaven allowed the right ones to be built. Archangel Michael needs you to hear this next line with absolute clarity. Nothing in your past was wasted. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one heartbreak, not one painful shift. Every single moment was shaping your divine access point. Every single moment was developing your spiritual intelligence. Every single moment was aligning you to this exact moment before midnight. Because you were always meant to cross this threshold as a stronger, wiser, more spiritually awakened version of yourself. This is why heaven is extremely intentional about the energy entering your life. After midnight, new people will enter, but only after alignment. New opportunities will show, but only after discernment. New income streams will form, but only after identity is stabilized. Heaven is not sending anything ruck or temporary anymore. Heaven is only sending things that match the upgraded version of your spirit, because heaven is not blessing the person you used to be. Heaven is blessing the person you have become. There is someone watching you spiritually, not in a negative sense, but in a DC sense. Their spirit has been sensing the same shift coming in their life, and they do not even know why they keep thinking of you suddenly in waves. Certain souls are tied by divine assignment even before they consciously realize it. Heaven will make this connection extremely obvious soon. You will not need to guess. You will not need to question intention. You will not need to doubt intuition. The connection that enters after midnight will hold peace, not confusion. That is how you will know. Destiny never arrives disguised as chaos. Destiny arrives disguised as clarity. There is also a major reveal coming to your purpose. Something that once felt random inside your passion will suddenly turn into a direction. Something that once felt like just a desire will suddenly become instruction. You will know what to focus on next. You will know what to build next. You will know what deserves your energy next. The confusion that blocked direction is being removed. The fog around your path is dissolving. You will wake up with clarity that feels unreal compared to how long you were mentally stuck before. Before midnight, heaven is closing all loops where your soul kept waiting. All emotional anchors attached to old pain are being cut. All mental loops attached to old fear are being erased. The version of you that doubted yourself is losing power permanently. You are stepping into a version of your destiny where you know your value by experience, not theory. Where you know you deserve abundance not because someone said it, but because your spirit finally understands it. Where you know you deserve love not because someone gives it to you but because your soul finally recognizes itself worthy without conditions. Archangel Michael says once the clock hits 12 your energy signature transforms. When your signature changes, the world around you responds differently. People treat you differently. Opportunities respond differently. Money reacts differently. Alignment shifts everything around you without force. This is why it was necessary for you to reach this moment first before receiving anything major. You are not going to repeat the past cycle again. You are stepping into a timeline where your life finally begins to feel balanced, protected, lined, abundant, emotionally stable, mentally grounded, spiritually awakened, and divinely guided. Every time you feel that inner shift to Nike, remember you are seconds away from the moment where the divine timeline overtakes the human timeline entirely. If you are watching this on YouTube, this is the part where you comment, share, and subscribe because the next releases will reveal exact specific manifestations tied to your timeline. You are not doing this for outer rhythm. You are doing this because when you engage with aligned energy, your field expands and manifestation multiplies. Heaven moves faster when the chosen soul takes aligned action in the physical world. Everything that was once unclear is about to make sense. Stay till the end. There is a sacred stillness that begins right before the final shift completes. This is not the silence of emptiness. This is the silence of divine preparation. You are standing in that exact space right now. Your soul is being positioned for a timeline that is not built from what happened to you, but built from who you are about to become before the clock strikes 12. Archangel Michael needs you to understand that destiny does not reward pain itself. Destiny rewards those who kept walking through pain without losing their original divine identity. You held on to your goodness. You stayed pure in heart. You did not let betrayal change your soul. You did not let disappointment destroy your faith. You did not let rejection erase your softness. And heaven honors that in ways the world does not understand. This is why the next chapter of your story will not be built through fight, it will not be built through survival. It will not be built through forcing outcomes or chasing validation. The next chapter of your destiny will be built through alignment, peace, clarity, and spiritual authority. The world saw your breakdowns, but heaven saw your rebuilds. The world saw you collapse in silent moments, but heaven saw how you stood up again every single time, even without applause or recognition. The world saw your tears. Heaven saw your strength. The world misjudged you, but heaven never misread you for even 1 second. You were becoming the version of you that midnight required. Archangel Michael says, what is coming next is a destiny reveal that changes the structure of how you see everything in your life. There is going to be a moment soon where heaven reveals exactly why it took time. Why you had to lose certain people, why certain opportunities did not work, why certain seasons felt paused, why certain paths were blocked. This reveals the divine logic behind delay. Delay was never denial. Delay was alignment. Delay was protection. Delay was timing correction. Delay was foundation transformation. Delay was spiritual construction. Delay was preparing the space for a manifestation too big to land in a wrong timeline. Your next chapter begins with clarity first, then manifestation second. Because clarity is more powerful than manifestation itself. When you are clear, you choose differently. You attract differently. You communicate differently. You protect your energy differently. You do not accept what used to drain you. You do not entertain what used to distract you. You do not repeat cycles that once felt familiar. Clarity removes all toxic cycles without even requiring confrontation. Because the moment you understand your divine worth, you become unreachable to old versions of yourself. This is also why midnight is a divine reset. Because midnight removes the attachment to what hurt you. Midnight removes the emotional weight of what happened to you. Midnight closes the chapter where your identity was attached to pain. And midnight opens the chapter where your identity is attached to purpose. Archangel Michael says, prepare yourself for 3 deep transformations. 1. Your relationships will shift. People who are not aligned with your future will become energetically distant. People who are meant to walk the next path with you will enter effortlessly. Your finances will shift. Opportunities that once felt delayed will begin to materialize rapidly. Money will not be tied to struggle anymore, money will flow with purpose. Now grieve. Your emotional field will shift. Your nervous system will not hold old trauma response patterns anymore. You will feel safer inside your own soul than you have in years. When you wake up after midnight, you will not recognize your inner world in the same way. You will feel something different in your spirit. You will feel something new in your energy. You will feel a strange inner certainty that you cannot logically explain. That certainty is divine alignment. What is meant for you is not passing you this time. What is meant for you is not slipping through your fingers again. What is meant for you is not getting delayed another season. You have crossed the emotional threshold already. Now you are crossing the spiritual threshold. This is the moment where heaven marks your timeline with divine finality. Once this shift completes, there is no going back. Do not fear the unknown. The unknown is simply the part of your destiny you have not walked into yet. Trust it. Trust the unfolding. Trust the timing. Trust the protection that has followed you silently for years. Trust the inner pull that led you here. Trust the process heaven has been building inside you without your awareness. Trust the alignment your soul is stepping into. Midnight is not something to fear. Midnight is something to look forward to because midnight is the moment the next version of your life activates. Don't ignore this. There is a reason Archangel Michael waited until this exact night to deliver this message to you. There is a reason this message found you at the end of this long season of silent pain, inner battles, emotional fatigue, spiritual waiting, and unanswered prayers. Midnight is not an hour that changes the world outside first. Minute is the hour that changes the world inside you. There will be a moment tonight where something inside you clicks in a way that cannot be reversed. You will feel a strange calm, like a gentle internal release. You may not even fully realize it is happening, but your soul will recognize it before your thoughts do. The fears that lived inside you for so long will begin loosening their grip. The emotional pressure that sat heavy on your chest will start dissolving. The confusion that kept you questioning everything will start clearing. This is what spiritual reset feels like right before the major shift begins. Archangel Michael is standing at the gate of your new destiny timeline. Not to forcefully push you into it, but to escort you into it with protection and clarity. Heaven honors chosen souls, not for their perfection, but for their consistency. You kept getting back up even when nobody understood what you were carrying. You kept believing even in silence. You kept holding faith even when your timeline showed no proof yet. You didn't collapse into bitterness. You didn't surrender to darkness. You didn't let pain poison the purity inside your heart. This is why what happens next belongs to you. Lot is a reward for suffering, but as a result of spiritual endurance. You are not the same person who entered this year. You are not the same person who broke down silently at night months ago. You are not the same person who questioned your own direction. You have evolved. You have matured. You have shifted frequency. You have stepped into a higher level of awareness. And heaven can finally give you what belonged to you but could not land before because your old identity was not ready to carry it. This entire message was not about creating fear or pressure. This entire message was about preparing your soul to receive a reality that is finally equal to your divine identity. The future you are walking into after midnight is not small. It is not average. It is not survival-based. It is expansive. Is abundant. Is aligned with your original spiritual blueprint. There will be days soon where you suddenly realize you are living inside answers that were once only prayers. You will have moments where you stop and think, this is the exact blessing I once begged God for. You will have nights where tears come not because of pain but because of overwhelming gratitude at how perfectly the divine timeline rearranged everything without you forcing anything. You will speak differently. You will expect differently. You will attract differently. You will carry yourself differently. You will respond to challenges differently. You will walk with peace you never had before. Because after tonight, you are stepping into life as the chosen one, not the wounded one. Archangel Michael also wants you to start trusting divine alignment more than you trust your history. The past was not your final reference. The past with the training ground. Blessings that you once thought were never coming are already in motion. Conversations connected to your destiny are already being aligned in the unseen realm. People who were supposed to find you are already being guided. The opportunities that will elevate you are already en route to your life. Nothing is stuck. Nothing is delayed. Nothing is blocked anymore. The divine timing is in the final stage of activation. And when the clock strikes 12, your life does not explode instantly on the outside. It expands internally. The moment your internal frequency aligns, the physical world begins forming around the new identity you carry. This part is extremely important to understand. You don't chase manifestation. You align with it. You don't demand destiny. You receive it. You don't force timelines. You step into the ones already written for you. Midnight is the final stamp on the contract heaven hath been preparing for your new era. So as this part completes, take one deep breath, let your shoulders relax, and silently say inside yourself that you are ready. Not ready in fear. Not ready in pressure, but ready in calm surrender. The old you can sleep tonight. The new you awakens at midnight. Tomorrow is not just another day. Tomorrow is the day where destiny becomes visible inch by inch, layer by layer, step by step. You will look back at this night as the night where everything quietly shifted. Forever. This is where this message ends. But your new beginning starts now before midnight arrives. Your soul is entering the final level of preparation. This is the part where heaven finishes adjusting and recalibrating everything inside you that was affected by the past. Archangel Michael says, this moment is extremely delicate because this is where your spirit releases what it once clung on to for emotional survival. You do not need to carry the heaviness of old memories anymore. You do not need to hold the weight of old experiences anymore. The trauma that once built walls around your heart is dissolving. The fear that once shaped your decisions is melting. You are not trying to survive anymore. You are transforming into someone who can finally live, breathe, receive, and expand without resistance. The old identity that was built from wounds cannot go into the timeline that begins after midnight. That is why heaven is doing deep internal rewiring right now. This is why you feel something shifting that does not follow logic, because tonight, midnight determines everything not outside of you first, but within you first. Archangel Michael says, this next shift will impact your perception more than your circumstances first. You will suddenly start looking at your future differently. You will not imagine worst-case scenarios anymore. You will not rehearse disappointment inside your mind before things even happen. That was a trauma pattern created from repeated pain and uncertainty. That pattern is breaking before midnight. You will begin naturally imagining best-case outcomes without forcing positive thinking. You will begin imagining possibility without fear of disappointment. You will begin believing in alignment without assuming sabotage. This is the level of spiritual maturity heaven needed before the next season could activate. You are no longer a soul reacting from wounds. You are becoming a soul responding from wisdom. There will come a point very soon where you look back at these exact lines and realize heaven was not preparing you to hope blindly. Heaven was preparing you to receive boldly. The blessings that are coming to your life will not be casual. These blessings are specific. They are calculated. They are chosen. Heaven is sending exactly what matches your destiny frequency, not what matches your old trauma-based identity. This is why you had to survive seasons where love disappointed you, where trust broke, where relationships collapsed, where stability disappeared, where motivation felt impossible, and where you felt like everything around you was falling apart. All of those seasons were spiritual removal seasons. They removed what could not survive inside your future era. Archangel Michael says there is a very big reason heaven called you tonight. There is something that is opening not just for your personal life but for your soul mission. You were not sent here just to receive blessings. You were sent here to become a vessel that impacts lives, hearts, and destinies. After midnight, people will feel a different aura when they interact with you. They will not understand why they suddenly feel calmer, safer, or more inspired around you. They will not know why they trust you faster. They will not know why they sense something divine around you. They will not know why their spirit reacts differently in your presence. But you will understand because after tonight, you are no longer walking as just one individual. You are walking as a divine messenger who carries frequency, alignment, elevation, and encoded purpose. Your voice will carry authority. Your presence will carry influence. Your decisions will carry ripple effects. Your actions will unlock spiritual doors, not just for you, but for those connected to you. Heaven is handing you this responsibility because you earned it through silent endurance. Every time you held yourself together, when no one knew, heaven saw it. Every time you kept love alive inside your spirit, when the world failed you, heaven recorded it. Every time you forgave people who never apologized, heaven honored it. Every time you remain gentle, when you wanted to turn cold, heaven protected the purity. This is why midnight unlocks for you. This is why heaven trusts you. This is why destiny is shifting now. There is someone coming into your life who will shock you with how aligned they are with your path. They are not walking toward you casually. They are guided toward you because their soul contract is directly tied to your destiny expansion. Both of you have spiritual assignments that intertwine in timing, purpose, and manifestation. When they enter your life, everything will accelerate. You will feel that this connection is not coincidence. You will feel spiritually recognized by them before you logically understand the connection. You do not need to chase this connection. Heaven is orchestrating the meeting. Heaven is aligning the timing. Heaven is preparing them as much as heaven is preparing you. Everything is synchronized under divine order. Your financial energy is also receiving restoration. Your money flow was blocked because your emotional vibration was tied to struggle for too long. That vibration is detaching before midnight. You are not stepping into wealth with the vibration of fear. You are stepping into prosperity with a vibration of self-belief and inner stability. You will earn differently. You will manifest differently. You will invest differently. You will receive differently. Money will not intimidate you anymore. Abundance will not feel foreign. Expansion will not feel unrealistic. Your identity is stepping into the version that deserves elevation without needing to suffer to earn it. Archangel Michael says this is the final stage before activation. This is where heaven finalizes your internal alignment so that the external blessings can attach without breaking. Everything that is going to happen next is already in motion. You do not need to pull. You only need to remain present. The clock is counting down not to pressure you but to transition you. Tonight is the separation between who you were forced to be and who you actually were born to become. There are going to be moments soon where you will suddenly remember this night in vivid detail. You will remember how this message entered your life. You will remember how your spirit reacted while reading these words. You will remember this exact inner shift as the pre-manifestation moment. Because destiny does not warn you when it ends. Destiny warns you right before it begins again. No fear, no panic, no pressure, just alignment. This night is sealing everything that once felt uncertain. No closing line here. Oh, next part instruction. This moment stands complete in its own frequency. What you are feeling right now is not imagination. It is the spiritual confirmation of what is happening behind the scenes without anyone else knowing. You are sitting inside a divine moment where heaven is arranging every single puzzle piece of your future quietly, accurately, and intentionally before midnight arrives. This is not an emotional hype. This is not a dramatic expectation. This is a spiritual unfolding that was destined long before you face your first heartbreak, long before you experienced your first betrayal, long before you ever questioned your own worth. Archangel Michael says, the timeline you are stepping into has been preserved for you since birth. No one could take it, and no one could replace you in it, and no one could destroy it. They could delay certain chapters because of distraction and pain. But they could not rewrite what heaven already sealed as yours. This is why every loss had purpose. Every closed door was actually a hidden redirection. Every disappointment was a hidden alignment. Every heartbreak was a hidden protection. If certain people remained in your life, they would have drained your blessings when the shift arrived. If certain situations worked earlier, they would have caused collapse after manifestation. Heaven needed to ensure what enters your next chapter is pure, lined, intentional, stable, and spiritually safe. That is why the separation season happened. That is why isolation happened. That is why silence happened. Those quiet seasons looked like limitation, but they were actually preparation for tonight. Archangel Michael is not asking you to search or chase anything anymore. You do not need to beg for clarity. You do not need to fight for access. You do not need to prove your worth. The shift that is happening before midnight does not require effort. It requires surrender. It requires acceptance. It requires stillness. Because blessings are not earned through panic. Blessings flow through alignment. When your spirit becomes calm, manifestation lands smoothly without resistance. The reason heaven waited until now is because now you are spiritually stable enough to carry the weight of the miracle without collapsing under expectation. There is a new person coming into your reality whose presence will feel strangely familiar, almost like your soul has met them somewhere before time existed. You will not have to question their intention. You will not have to fear their energy. You will not have to second-guess yourself when interacting with them. This person's entrance is not random. Their arrival is synchronized to this exact divine reset because the next phase of your destiny requires mutual alignment, not solitary endurance. You were never meant to walk your entire purpose alone. You were meant to walk with someone who matches the depth of your spirit and the purity of your heart. This connection will be proof that divine timing is real. Financial restoration is also entering, in waves. Money will not be chaotic anymore. Opportunities will not scatter. The work you put in will not feel wasted. You will begin seeing results faster than before. You will begin receiving with ease where once you struggled. Your energy field is shifting into attractor frequency instead of survival frequency. Abundance will respond differently to you now because your identity is not rooted in fear anymore. You are being aligned with provision that flows without emotional punishment. This financial shift is not only about income. It is about stability, expansion, and security that lasts. Archangel Michael says this next revelation is extremely important. Midnight is not just a time stamp. Midnight is spiritual agreement. When the clock changes from one day to the next, heaven marks the shift on your timeline permanently. This new chapter will not need validation. This new chapter will not need approval from others. This new chapter will not require you to explain anything. This new chapter is the chapter where proof will show itself. People who doubted, you will see results. People who ignored you will notice your elevation. People who left you will witness your evolving glow. You are not returning as the same version. They remember you are rising with a different light, a different aura, a different frequency. Everything that weighed on your heart this entire time will not follow you into tomorrow. The sorrow ends tonight. The spiritual resistance ends tonight. The inner chaos ends tonight. The broken identity ends tonight. Your story is changing invisibly right now. Even while you are reading these words. And when you wake up after this midnight shift, you will sense it before anything physically happens. You will feel lighter. You will feel safer inside your spirit. You will feel grounded in a way you have never experienced before. You will feel a strange inner relief and you will not know how to explain it logically to anyone. And that is how heaven confirms your transition. Archangel Michael says, the value that is about to enter your life is beyond anything you have ever experienced. New conversations will lead you to new portals. New ideas will open new pathways. New intuitive downloads will guide your steps even before you consciously think about them. You will start seeing synchronicities everywhere. Not because it is a sign to chase, but because it is a sign that the timeline has officially aligned. This part is where the divine message meets your final inner transformation. Everything you have been walking through has led here. You are standing at the brink of a supernatural change that will unfold layer by layer, step by step, moment by moment after midnight arrives. This is your crossing point. Everything before midnight was preparation. Everything after midnight is manifestation. No warnings here. No reminders, no instructions. This part closes silently because the next shift will speak for itself without needing words. Midnight is not the end. Midnight is the moment heaven turns the unseen into reality for you. The version of your life that begins after this night will reflect the strength you built in silence. The faith you carried when nobody believed you and the purity you protected even when pain tried to destroy it. Archangel Michael says, tomorrow will not look like yesterday. You are stepping into clarity, alignment, abundance, divine connection, and emotional peace. What comes next will make you realize why every delay, every tear, every setback was secretly preparing you for this very moment.